Hello everyone, this is Nimish and today we're going to review the movie The Great Father starring the one and only Mammootty, and it also has Arya in an equally important role on the other side who plays a cop. I want to start this review with a kind of a scene from another movie called Wajah Tum Ho, which is a Hindi movie released in 2016 December, which I've also reviewed. That was a thriller. But I just want to play that scene in front of you and get into the discussion of Great Father after that. Please note that this is not once you see the scene you'll know what I mean, but I am not trying to say that the film is copied. My point is something else, and I will come to that point after we watch this video. So first let's go and take a look at that video from Wajah Tum Ho. Here we go. So as you can see, that scene is the exact scene which Great Father opens with, and it's very similar to that scene. Now I'm not saying that Great Father copied Wajah Tum Ho, because I think both these movies are inspired by some other Hollywood movie where this scene might be there, because Wajah Tum Ho was a Hollywood like thriller. It's a very Hollywood obsessed director who made Wajah Tum Ho, and so generally I think that both these scenes are inspired from somewhere else, but that's not my point. Throughout the movie Great Father, there were many such scenes that completely reminded me of one scene or the other from some movies that I've watched, and the styling and everything was very Hollywood like. I want to show another scene from Interstellar, which is a movie by Christopher Nolan. It's a very famous movie, and there's a scene in that movie where the father, played by Matthew McConaughey, hugs his daughter and he has to leave for space, and he basically gets very emotional and he drives away in the car. And let's see how similar that scene is, or the context is of that scene, to Great Father. So here we go with both those scenes.
Three, two, one. Booster ignition and
എവിടെയോ
Now, I'm not going to sit and pick every scene up and say it's similar to something else, because as you can see from these scenes, they are not frame to frame copies or just lifting a scene out of context. The Great Father has its own story, it has its own narration and everything of that sort, but you can see inspirations from different places, and I'm sure I don't need to show them to y'all. You yourself must have felt like this is a very stylish Hollywood style movie that was made, and rightly so. While watching the movie, I assumed that it's either a debutant director because the Hollywoodization of the movie was so evident, or I assume that it's someone who's obsessed with style and Hollywood, who regularly makes such movies that might be very Hollywood-like or stylish. But when I checked, I came to know that it is in fact a debutant, and that didn't surprise me at all, because it was purely a completely stylized, this newcomer who wants to make amazing Hollywood style movies, stylish movies kind of a movie. But that doesn't mean that Great Father is not original in its own self. Definitely it's a regular story of revenge, a father taking revenge, stuff like that, which is kind of like we've seen a lot in Taken and stuff like those movies in different contexts put here. But generally it's a very kind of stylized movie inspired from various places, and so it's definitely not something new or something brand new, unique. It's a celebration of sorts. The movie, throughout the movie, celebrates the stardom of Mammootty. It gives him all those amazing sequences of driving stylishly, getting out of the car, wearing his glass time and again, the slow motion walks, which is filled. Like, if anyone wants to watch Mammootty walk in slow motion, they should probably just watch Great Father, because he does that throughout the movie. He's extremely stylish. His performance is absolutely great as the father. He's very natural, and sometimes I get amazed in some scenes about how he does it, because the number of movies that he makes, it's not easy to just get into the role and switch on, switch off. And I don't know how they do it. They do like 3-4 films a year at least. They used to do more, and in every movie he's equally convincing as the character. So that goes to show how kind of knowledgeable he is about his acting and how aware he is in the situation. In this scene, in this movie, he was absolutely fantastic as a father, and he portrayed those emotions very well. Arya, on the other hand, was very well cast for this movie. His body, his build, and his acting style perfectly suits this movie. I watched Arya in Raja Rani, which I didn't complete because I was not enjoying it. But in that movie, I thought he was a kind of a weak actor because of the timing of his comedy and all were not really going well. His drunk acting was completely way off, and so I couldn't watch that movie. But in this movie, he was really good. I think his kind of serious face, straight face, kind of anger suits his personality, and it suited the personality of the cop in the movie. Although I felt that his long hair and his always casual dressing was not justified as a cop, but nevertheless, that's not important. He fit the part perfectly, and he gave a good kind of opposite support to Mammootty, and both of them did a very good job. Overall, the movie was much better in the second half. I think that the investigation, the kind of trying to find out who he is, the chase, all those things were better in the second half. The first half just builds up to a point where finally the action kind of gets started, and we're pushing towards what's so-called the main story of the movie. So overall, it was a very stylish film. It was definitely entertaining. It was very kind of interesting to watch what's going to happen next and stuff like that. The suspense and everything at the end and who's done it is basically fine. There's nothing amazing about it, neither is there something very bad about it. It's just fine. The movie overall is an entertainer, and again, as I said on my Twitter, it's very surprising that after Puli Murugan, which itself was a very commercial movie, this is the movie which is even more commercial and even more stylized and Hollywood like, which is completely opposite of what like 70% of Malayalam movies really are. These movies are opening up to these amazing collections and breaking records one after the other. Of course, it's because of the stardom of these big M's of the industry that people just enjoy watching them and whistling for their action and completely applauding them in the theater and celebrating them once in a while. But again, it's kind of also a little scary as to what direction the industry might go in, because money is tempting to filmmakers and producers. If they kind of see that these movies are working and people want to watch this, that's how the bad cycle begins, and movies can tend to go in that direction. So I was recently on Twitter, like I'm always on Twitter, but I just saw recently, I think today itself, that the Adam Joan poster of Prithvi Raj just released. It's the first poster, a first look of his movie, and Prithvi Raj, who's also the producer in this movie, himself is doing another movie which is similar to this, which is Revenge of His Wife or something like that, and he's also in the same style with jacket, guns, and crazy cars and stuff like that. So it's a little uncomfortable to watch the industry go in that sense. So I hope that they may produce such movies which is completely entertaining but never lose sight of what the real industry is about. So I'm very kind of protective of films and industries that way, and I don't want them to become overly stylized and commercial and just make such movies, because they are known for something else. The industry is known for something else. It's known for its progressive movies. It's known for its kind of way into the future, way ahead of its time movies with a lot of logic, a lot of sense, a lot of simplicity, and that's the beauty. And so I hope that one day, or the next film that breaks these records, is something that is really true to the Kerala culture, and that will be fun. That will be a day that I'm looking forward to. Nevertheless, The Great Father was an entertaining watch. It is like any other commercial movie that we see in Hindi, Tamil, Telugu, or any such thing. It's celebrates the stardom of a superstar, and that's what it's all about. I'm going with 3 stars because it was an entertaining movie. Like, comment, share, subscribe, and take care.